Hey guys, come follow me again, and it's exciting to be back. I did take a break for just this last week. My husband actually is currently waiting in hospital on a double bypass, so I took the week to really just reorganize, recenter, and get my humanness together, and be back here. I'm okay. I I needed some time, to just get a new routine going, and here we are. So, good to be back here. I was really excited about this week's Come Follow Me, and there's some really good stuff in here. So, let's get into it. Let's hope it inspires you in some way. So, we've got section 85 through 87. It's 3 sections. They're all fairly short, but there's some really valuable lessons in here. Now, section 85, just a little bit of backstory. This was specifically for those members who had moved to Missouri, were not consecrating their lands, not paying their tithing, not necessarily even having a membership in the church. That was how they sort of worked it then. And Joseph Smith saw all this and was like, come on, you guys, the way this works is that, remember, consecration, you give what you have, what you need is given back to you, which is often more than you have, really. And then everyone is taken care of. Now, in this day and age, we do it with tithing. And we all know that there's people who don't pay tithing. And it's not that they don't deserve to be at church. Of course they need to be at church. And it's all about welcoming and bringing in, absolutely. We always encourage them to pay tithing, because by paying tithing, everyone's taken care of. I saw that in my ward during COVID. All the tithe payers that I'm aware of, all the people that were good, they're all taken care of completely and wholly. So, something to consider, right? But verses 1 to 2, this is Joseph Smith's take on this. This is his message to them specifically, to, this is the purpose of the church, this is why we're here. And it tells, this is like, it's a letter, it's actually extract from the letter. To just say, look, come on, you guys, read this to them and get them encouraged, and get them better. Anyway, verses 1 to 2 is what we're going to look at. And it said, it is the duty of the Lord's clerk, whom he has appointed, to keep a history and a general church record of all things that transpire in Zion, and of all those who consecrate properties and receive inheritances legally from the bishop. Remember, this is what wasn't happening. So he's re-emphasizing, this is what needs to happen. This is how we do it. And verse 2, and also their manner of life, their faith and works, and also of the apostates who apostatize after receiving their inheritances. So it's important to know where church members are, not so we can go bug them, and because today that can still happen. It's not about that. It's about knowing where they are so we can account for who is in our membership and how we can help them. That's what it's about. It's not about being invasive into your privacy. And if people have done that, I'm sorry about that, because it's not what it's about. Interestingly, just after this, Joseph goes and buys his first journal, because he's like, oh, I need to keep an account. And that's the message for us personally in this, to keep an account. Yes, pay your tithing, and yes, all those things too, but keep an account. However you do that. Now, Joseph decided to write it down, because that's kind of what they had back in the 1830s, was pen and paper, if you were lucky, really. So he called his journal, which is really cool, he called it A History of the Life of Joseph Smith Jr., an account of his marvelous experience. And my granddad always liked the word marvelous. He used to always say, marvelous. That was his, amazing. I use amazing or awesome, and he was like, marvelous. It's quite a nice word. So, do you record your marvelous experiences, right? Do you? I can honestly say for most of mine, probably not, and I should. Although we, try not to use the word should. I'm encouraged to. There you go. It is now scripturally, obviously, always been a thing. I do this. I count this as journaling, because this goes onto YouTube. It's in perpetuity. It's there. You can go watch it anytime. I also do not so much a written diary anymore. I used to, but it takes too long to write. Sometimes I do still. Sometimes it's just notes. Sometimes it's wonderful experiences. Sometimes it's marvelous experiences. I've done a written diary. I do photographic, visual diaries. There's all sorts of things you can do to keep a diary, to keep a record. They don't all have to be long written out journals if that's not your thing. So keep that in mind, and I cannot say that enough, and I teach this all the time. People think journaling's got to be beautiful and pretty and have all the right stickers, and it's like, well, that's nice if you can afford all that and do all that, but honestly, just keep a record somehow. Whatever it is you can do, keep a record and make an effort to do it. Especially the marvelous experiences, because, the scriptures, after all, are people like you and I trying to do the Lord's work who write their marvelous experiences. That's what the scriptures are. And we count them as scriptural heroes. And really, they're just people like us writing down their marvelous experiences. And you're like, yes, but they're prophets and they're this and they're that. And it's like, yes, they are. But to them, they were just regular people in their time who wrote down what happened to them because the Lord told them to. And I'm not trying to take away from them, but that's really, if you look at it, what it is. And if you've got records of your ancestors, like if you have a journal from your aunt during wartime, how valuable is that to you and what can you learn from it, right? There's so much you can learn about them and who they are. It's just important, not only for us, for our future generations, or whoever else can find inspiration from it. How many people have found inspiration from people's diaries that have been published? Because there's some amazing ones. Now, ours don't have to be amazing to find inspiration in them. People will find inspiration because they love you, all right? So just put that down. Spencer W. Kimball, he said, this is one of my favourite journal quotes, and I use it whenever I talk about journaling. He said, remember this, those who keep a personal journal are more likely to keep the Lord in remembrance in their daily lives. And really that's what it's about, isn't it? Is to remember the Lord every day and to be grateful for everything. Remember all the things that he gives us, the trials and everything, but all the experiences, and that's what we need to write about. So Joseph Smith went and got a journal. If you don't have anything going right now, I encourage you to do that. Go get a journal, grab a notepad, type it on a blog, whatever you want to do. Take a bunch of photos, put them together, and do like a video journal thing. Talk like this and record it and put it somewhere. Tell people about your marvelous experiences. Tell people about the trials that you went through and how you got through them, or how you're feeling in the midst of them right now. Just do it, okay? Awesome. All right, that's number 1. I'll see you soon for number 2.